1904 Auburn's. 1900 Eckhart spring buggy. So they were buggy builders just like Studebaker was. (1904) Auburn. (1908) Auburn Model G. From horse to motor.
Headlights, electrical taillights, magnetic speedometer, a one-man removable.
Simpex. (1912) Simpex. Automobile company was founded by Herman Boswell, who purchased the assets from it. Model 38 was introduced in 1911. There's an Auburn Model N, 1911. 1909 Mitchell brass era car. 1912 Auburn Model 40. That's quite right. There are features meant to encourage lady driving as well. They're really forward, drive over, fasten the seats. The 5 on the Beauty 6. 1922 Auburn 651 with the Continental 6-cylinder motor.
For the older models of the Beauty 6. Well,
Called the Beauty 6 Sport. 1924 643. This is when EL Cord come in and basically rebuilt Auburn back up, and then Cord came out. Like, we do definitely want to go into the design studios, which is over there, I think. 1912 Auburn 30L with a Rutter 4-cylinder engine.
yes, ma'am.
We like speed. These honors look rather hefty, don't they?
1924 663.
The clay model in the studios behind us.
Yeah, we're definitely going to go in there. 1923 651. Here's another Auburn Beauty 6. This is a 639. There's another 639. This is a 6-passenger. Now these are the design studios for Auburn Cord. And here is the office of Mr. Snow, Herb Snow, which was the
Chief engineer.
chief engineer. Pretty neat, because this here is the design studios, and here's clay models and some of the wood lab coats and
Cleaned, reassembled, and liberty. The inverted mold is now ready to be used.
here's the drafting tables. But There's a quarter stale clay model. Here's the plywood forms that they use to make the different models. There's tubes of clay, and then around on this side is the clay tools they use to form the clay. And then here is one that they using the tool to measure the stuff. More clay moving tools. This tells you how that's done.
The casting is then cleaned, painted, and accessories and wheels are added. You've now seen the process of making a clay model in the 1930s.
There's some of the sketched designs. Pictures. America's first front-wheel drive car, the L29 Ford.
This was not contemporary music. It's 5 p.m.
Dillinger.
At about 10 o'clock, Dillinger walked out of the theater with his mom, who were about to sell him to justice for a crime. The federal agents were watching. Tensely and silently, they closed in about him. Suspicious and alert, Dillinger sensed that something was wrong. His hand flew to the gun hidden in his pocket. He was going to fight it out with the law. But a federal agent beat him to the draw and sent a bullet crashing through his skull to emerge beneath the right eye. In spite of the fatal shot, the Hoosier hoodlum ran into the alley, but fell with 2 more bullets staring into his body. Right to the Alexian
And this is about the
it was found that Dillinger had faked the
Dillinger that
before
shot.
his patrol-wagon ambulance reached that of Golden.
Well, we'll go around this way and see. There's a 1911 Esser. Is Iser? Never heard of that one. Huh?
For a car that was never that.
Cars which never achieved production.
The rich heroes of the legendary Jesse James. The disillusioned public of the Depression years spent the rest of their high interest rates
1894 black.
The sharp President Roosevelt appealed for a change of attitude.
1899. There's your electric.
They gave the firemen $12 tip for rescuing one of their trucks, which contained enough barrels of ammunition to make them a small army. The generous tip gave the firemen a living. When they saw the picture of the wanted gang, they were able to identify them as
Dillinger.
Mackley, Pierpont, and Dillinger.
Is this the Essex he had? No, this is the V8 Fords.
What followed was more like a moving record than the capture of a real criminal. Every state where villages gang committed crimes was anxious to extradite them, and legal battles loomed ahead. Indiana moved fastest, and before a writ of habeas corpus could be granted to keep the gang in Arizona, its lawyers laid on aircraft to get delegates securely back there to be tried for murder. He became one of the first prisoners to be transported by air.
States.
To this day, prisoners in the United States are still routinely loaded on
1923 Stutz Speedway Ford. Studebaker 1852 to 1963, which this is 1915 Studebaker Model SD, which if you go back to my videos, you'll find we went to the Studebaker Museum, which is a plant in South Bend that they actually were built, a lot of them built in. Here's a Studebaker precedent. Boat tail. Stutz Blackhawk. That's cool looking. Speedster. Here's a Scout. Now this International this is a prototype of the 79 Scout. International built. This one was built by the Fort Wayne plant, which was in the productions until this never reached production, but it's neat looking. But now the Scout's back this year. Talk about a small engine. Check out that little forward Crosley little Crosley engine. Little Crosley car, actually. 1952. Hold 25 horsepower. Little four-cylinder motor. 1920 Lexington S series. It has a Continental 6-cylinder. Lexington Motor Company was founded in 1909, Lexington, Kentucky. In 1910, it moved to Connersville, Indiana. I'm pretty sure that Cord bought the Lexington Motor Company out. Yeah. It went into receivership in 1927 and was taken over by Auburn Company and its president, E.L. Cord. 1916 Premier. Inline 6. 1916 Westcott. Model 42. Built in Richmond, Indiana. 1911 Westcott was entered in the Indianapolis 500. Halfway through the race, another car crashed and its mechanic was thrown directly in the path of the Westcott. Rather than injure the mechanic, the driver of the Westcott crashed his car deliberately. The driver and the Westcott became instant heroes. In 1913, they introduced the 6-cylinder cars with Continental engines. But by 1925, it was in receivership and became another victim of post-war recession. This is post-World War I. 1919 Cole Arrow 8.
85 police, 13 guns, with 12 motorcycle outlines. Thousands of people lined the streets, hoping for a glimpse of their hero, the Lord's Will.
It was built in Indianapolis. Again, another one that went in this and Mormon heritage. A Mormon. Then you got the 1920 Apperson, which is Edgar Apperson. Haynes Apperson, Elwood Haynes and Apperson Brothers. This is all their partnership in 1901.
They raced out of the side door and into a waiting car. Didn't Dan have his ideal gap? And its first race on the box.
They were both built in Kokomo. As a matter of fact, Apperson Hayes.
He shot the policeman dead. They got away in a fast car. Dillinger had killed his first man.
1896, Haynes Apperson.
As the gang pressed past the Midwest,
And this is the 1922 Haynes Model 55. Model 55 Touring. Alright, well, we're in the racing part of it. There's a 1915 Duesenberg. (1910) Auburn. (2003) Indy show car. Supercharged Ford. There's a Tommy Milton alley, replica of the gasoline alley in the 1930s. Down in Indianapolis, what they call gasoline alley. Wade Morton. There is a boat tail. This is Stutz. Nope, this is an Auburn. Look at that cooling coil they got on the radiator. 1932. concept car, probably. Yeah, prototype. 1948 Tasco. Unusual looking car. $19.20 Riviera. Oh wow, it was founded in Logansport, Indiana. (1907) Kibling Model D, 10 horsepower. Flat 2-cylinder. Pancake 2-cylinder. 1913 IMP. Oh, person sits behind you, your passenger sits behind you. (1909) Zimmerman Model H. 1909 McIntyre Model 251. (1910) model Zimmerman Model X. (1908) Model G. Zimmerman Model G. (1909) McIntyre Model 251.
The Union was made over a year old, 1916, by the Union Automobile Company. John Zimmerman formed the operation to build cars in the factory where Zimmerman automobiles were most built. In truth, the Union was actually a 4-cylinder motor. The model was made from 1902 to 1907 by the Model Gas and Gasoline engine. Owner E.A. Myers built 2-cylinder
McIntyre Model 1908 McIntyre Model M.
in 1906.
Here's some engines. 6-cylinder Bugatti. Duesenberg Motor Corporation. Really? Auburn V12. Is that a B? That's a B16. That is a B16. Well, it's not. It's a side-by-side. It's not V. It's a vertical 16-cylinder motor. It's not V'd. So it's actually turbocharged too. Supercharged because it's not driven by exhaust. It's driven by a gear. Now here is an actual V16. Because it uses one central crank. That uses two separate cranks. That is neat looking. Here's a Duesenberg chassis. With the straight 8. Nope, that's a Cord chassis. Excuse me, front wheel drive. There's a V8, 1936 V8 Cord. There's a transmission that would be for the front wheel drive. Well, that's what they call low ratio. Vehicle speed be 60 miles an hour. I don't think that worked right. Because that's slower now. That's cool how that changes gears. See that? Pretty cool. Carburetor, supercharged engines. Well, let's take a look at this red car right here, and then we're going to have to change batteries and head to the other museum, I think. 1911. Look at the old water fountain. Wow. I don't even know how to pronounce that one. Metallurgy. Manufactured in Belgium, 1911. Kind of a pretty car. Well, folks, here is a L29 scale model of in 1931 L29 that belonged to E.L. Cord. It was presented by Cord by Lou Manning, an investment broker and close friend of Cord's. It was made by the Elgin Watch Company, based in Elgin, Illinois. It was known for producing high-quality timepieces. The finish was identical to the Cabriolet owned by Cord while he was married to his first wife, Helen. Wingrove 1937 Cord 812 Museum coupe, convertible coupe. Door handles worked, hood latch works, even the correct style data plate is visible under the hood. Well, this is part of the compound, but as you can see here, Says it all started here in 1874. The Eckhart Carriage Company was established in 1874 in Auburn, Indiana. It was a direct ancestor to Auburn Automotive Company, as both were owned by Eric Eckhart family in early days. Oh, you can see a little bit in there. Shame that's not opened up. All right, more to come. There's two. Assembly and Duzer Model J chassis for display in the museum. Oh, that is a beautiful car. Man, I wish you could see that, folks. Restorations of them. Well, got some restoration projects going on. All right. The guy was telling us this is a famous actor or actress owned that. There, Auburn. Hope you enjoyed this video. More to come on the other museum that's at Auburn, that's on the same compound as the Auburn, Cord, and Duesenberg Museum. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.